Hey you guys, it's Lindy. Welcome back to my channel. This is the very first official episode of, I don't even have a name for the series. Maybe it doesn't even need a name. The series itself is basically about revamping my eBay store. About a month ago, I had posted a video about how I wanted to completely change my eBay account for starting 2025. I wanted to revamp it. I wanted to go, remove stale listings. I wanted to basically start it over from scratch. And during that journey, I wanted to be able to come on here month after month and talk about, how many new items I listed, how much revenue I made, how many offers I accepted, what the total value of my eBay store is. I basically wanted to document the entire process so that we can kind of, see in real time what happens depending on exactly what you're doing with your eBay account month over month. So, for instance, if I'm listing more items, did I then sell more items? If I put more value in my store, were higher value items selling? Just kind of picking apart the little minute details that you might not have considered if you're not really paying attention to those regular reoccurring tasks that you do day after day. So in this first episode, I honestly don't have a lot to report. I basically just wanted to show, what my current sales are and kind of talk about some things that I've realized over the last 30 days, which this is going to be a big part of this video series also, is kind of, talking about the things that I've realized over the prior month and, challenges that I had or things that I've realized, stuff like that. So the very first thing that I wanted to disclose is that I did not list anything new on eBay, and I have removed 100% of my out of stock options, which brings up something that's kind of a pain point that I wanted to talk about. I'm now realizing with this, I guess it's a new policy change that eBay's done. So prior to, 3 years ago, maybe, I honestly don't remember when this policy change was enacted. But what had happened was there was always an out of stock option that was eligible for all of your listings. At least I'm pretty sure, depending on how big or small of a seller you were, everybody had the ability to turn the out of stock option on in their listings, which would basically mean if the out of stock option was turned on, once an item sold, your listing would then remain active so that you could restock that listing and still have all of the sales history on the original listing to help sell whatever quantities you restocked. Because once a listing has some sold history on it, it makes that listing a lot more powerful. That means that it has a good history. Maybe you've gotten positive feedback for selling that item before. So eBay is more likely to show that listing to other people because there's positive sales history on the listing. So every seller had the ability to go into their settings and check the out of stock option box on. That would keep all of their listings active even after they sold. Well, however long ago it was, 2-3 years, I can't remember exactly how long, eBay made it defaulted. Like eBay just completely defaulted everybody to the out of stock option. There was no out of stock option anymore because it wasn't optional. Everybody had everything stay active even after it was sold. Now, where is the problem with this? The problem with this is after an item sells, your listing remains active and you could be paying for it. So depending on whether or not you pay for a store subscription or if you just have a regular eBay account, once that listing renews, you are then responsible for paying any insertion fees or having that listing eat up your freebies if you're paying for a store subscription. So most of the time, I think people aren't really bothered by this because if you have a store subscription, the chances that you are having more listings than you are gifted in the store subscription is not as likely, I think. I think a lot of people that might have, a basic store subscription, they don't have anywhere near 1,000 listings. Or if they have a premium store subscription, they don't have anything even close to 10,000 listings. listings. And so it's okay to just have these listings kind of renew over and over again because you're not really paying for it. But what I am noticing in my particular situation, because remember I said I canceled my eBay store subscription, I was paying 35 cents per insertion of listings that were out of stock and not even eligible to sell. Now, is that my own fault? Yes, it is. However, this is me telling you, you might be overpaying in your seller costs because you might have listings that are automatically renewing that are out of stock. And if you don't have an eBay store subscription that is allowing you a certain amount of insertions every single month, you could be paying out of pocket for each one individually. So what I realized over the last 30 days is I was needing to go in every time something sold and end that listing to make sure that I wasn't going to be charged an insertion fee when it was time for that listing to auto renew. So until I reach the point again where I do want to have an eBay store subscription, where I feel like it's financially beneficial to have a store subscription, until then I have to go in and manually end listings to make sure I'm not paying 35 cents for each one. If you remember way back a month ago in the video where I was talking about starting on this journey with revamping and starting my eBay store from scratch, I had brought up my seller performance and I brought up the report that was showing how much revenue was brought in my eBay account and how much my seller costs were. And if you remember, my seller costs were over 50%. And at the time I was filming that video, I was legitimately shocked because I hadn't really looked at that number at all until I was actually filming that video. So when I saw over 50% in seller costs, I was genuinely confused. I might not have said so in the video, but in real life, I was genuinely confused as to how exactly my seller costs were over 50%. And you guys, the reason why it was over 50% was because of those insertion fees that I was paying on out of stock listings. I had something like, of course, I can't remember now. I can't remember if it was 30 something or 50 something out of stock listings. Regardless, I was paying 35 cents for each one of those. That is where over 50% in seller costs was coming in on that report. I was basically giving eBay money for listings that weren't even eligible to sell. And so the first thing that I wanted to make note of in this video series is that make sure that you are not paying eBay extra for listings that are out of stock that aren't even eligible to be sold. If you sell something, if you're not going to be restocking it again, make sure to end that listing and save yourself the fee. And if you have a store subscription where you're not meeting all of the allotted freebies that you're getting under that store subscription, be paying attention to when you start getting close to that, because then you're gonna have to start really paying attention. Otherwise, those insertion fees are going to start kicking in. So all of that being said, here is where all of my active listings currently stand as of the beginning of December. I currently have 250 active eBay listings. Now, those are truly active because there are 0 out of stock. I have been ending all out of stock listings right after they sell. The total value of my eBay store is $9,923.46 with an available quantity of 612 items. So again, some of those active listings do have multiple quantities. That's where the 612 active quantity is coming from. Over the month of November, I did not list anything new in my eBay account. I was actually really super focused on my Facebook page because of Black Friday week. There was a lot of things that I needed to do in order to prepare for that. And then the entire week of Black Friday, not only did I have this massive sale going on, but I was also doing a lot of traveling for the holidays and spending time with family because kids were out of school. So I did not pressure myself to list anything new on eBay. I instead decided to focus on making an attempt to chip away at some of the stale inventory that was on the shelves. I wanted to kind of see what was on the eBay shelves that I could pull down and sell elsewhere to kind of, reduce the amount of capital that was just sitting there taking up space. And in doing that, I ended up making a video that I just posted not too long ago about listings disappearing off of eBay. So that was something else that really hit me hard over the last 30 days. was the fact that I was going through these eBay shelves in an attempt to remove stale, stagnant listings from eBay and sell the merchandise somewhere else, when the video completely morphed into something entirely different, because most of the items I was pulling off of the shelves weren't even listed in eBay anymore. So that made me realize something else. It made me realize that eBay is still removing stagnant listings. And I did see in the comments of that video, there was quite a few of you that were pointing out that it is in the fine print of eBay that listings over a year old are subject to removal. And while that is or is not true, that's kind of crappy. So in the future, I do think I am going to have to develop some sort of a system to keep that from happening. So when I do develop a new system for myself in trying to prevent listings from just disappearing off of eBay altogether, I will definitely follow up with you guys and talk about, what I have decided to do to handle that situation, because I do need to figure something out, because that was incredibly frustrating, and it was almost comical to me that I had a camera on me the entire time I was doing that, because even editing that video, I could see the frustration in my face. Like, I couldn't hide it. It was completely unexpected that I was just going to be pulling stuff off of eBay and thinking, oh, I'll just look up the eBay listing and end it so that I can sell it on Facebook. And I couldn't even find the listings in my eBay account. It was incredibly frustrating, and I don't want to put more work into eBay to have that happen in the future. So once I figure out a new system for combating that, I will definitely let all of you guys know. So now I want to answer the question, when exactly am I planning to do an eBay store again? So if you are familiar with the eBay store subscriptions, you'll know that you pay a certain amount every single month and you get an allotted amount of active insertions for free. I believe that it does not make mathematical sense to get a store subscription until you've reached a certain threshold of active listings. And I think that that special number is somewhere around 317 or 318 listings. It is at that point that everything over 250, which 250 is how many freebies you get without having a store subscription. So the difference between 250 and 317, 318, those insertion free costs, that is when it becomes mathematically beneficial to have a store subscription, because then at that point you end up saving money. So until that point, I am not planning to subscribe to an eBay store. Now, I do realize that there are other benefits to having an eBay store. It's not just about the free insertions. You also get things like Markdown Manager. You also get things like an eBay shipping supply coupon. But because I am still in the revamping and starting over stages of my eBay account, I just don't necessarily see those being added benefits enough to pay the $25 or whatever it is for the store subscription just yet. So let's take a look at the sales report for my eBay store so we can kind of compare it to last month when I first did the video talking about doing this whole revamp thing. So I'm just gonna plan to look at November as a whole rather than do the last 30 days from today. I'm just gonna look at every month basically in these videos, every month as a whole. So the month of November would have been the 1st through the 30th. It looks like my total sales for the month amounted to $732.48, which is actually up 152% from October. So my sales did go up. Now, why exactly do I think they went up? I think it went up because of activity. I wasn't listing anything new, nor did I run any sales or send offers. I didn't do anything like that. The only thing that I was doing was going through active listings and pulling stuff off of eBay in order to sell them elsewhere. The other task that I was doing was ending out of stock listings. That was all I was doing. I was literally spending the entire month pulling stuff off of eBay and ending out of stock listings. And then I did accept a few offers. I did not send offers, but I accepted some offers, and I also shipped out items that had sold. So in just doing some sort of activity alone, I was able to increase my sales 152%. My selling costs dropped to 28.3%, which was a total of $207.61. Remember, I mentioned the insertion fees from the month prior where my seller costs were over 50%. That's because I was paying all of those extra insertion fees for listings that weren't even eligible to be sold. So just the simple act of removing those listings and stopping those insertion fees, that alone dropped my seller costs to under 30%. Which means that my net sales revenue was $478.13, which was an increase of $282.07 versus the prior month. Now, in this video series, I did also want to talk about what my real life profits are from eBay, and I had talked about in that previous video how I was going to be calculating that moving forward. So now everything that is listed in my eBay account right now, since I have not listed anything new, remember, all of the inventory that is in this eBay account to me is pure profit, and here is why. Everything that's currently listed in my eBay account is items that have been listed for such a long time that I have already profited off of the sourcing that was done to acquire those items. So everything that's listed on eBay right now was listed from truckloads or box lots or pallets that I've already profited off of. So when you buy a pallet for $1,000, once you reach sales of $1,000 or more, then that means that any merchandise that has not yet sold can be deemed pure profit if that's how you do your bookkeeping. And that is how I do my bookkeeping. So most of these items that are currently listed on eBay actually came from truckloads from when I had my brick and mortar bin store. And I have already profited off of those truckloads, which basically means that everything that I have sitting on eBay is free inventory. Same thing with the rest of the items that didn't come from truckloads. Those were things like box lots or pallet sales from prior to that, or maybe bin store purchases that I've already profited off of that bin store purchase. So in my bookkeeping, once I've reached that threshold where I've already gotten the money back that I spent on the inventory, that means that any inventory that's left to sell is all profit. So everything that is currently listed in my eBay account, I am not taking out cost of goods at all because it's pure profit because I've already profited off of those cost of goods. I feel like I keep saying the same thing over again and I'm just going to start confusing you, so I'm just going to move on. Now, I did not spend any money on eBay inventory for the month of November. Again, I didn't list anything. I didn't go sourcing for anything for eBay. So the $478.13 net sales number is just basically profit. The shipping label's already come out of it. I guess I could take out things like shipping goods or whatever if I want to, but I'm honestly not going to do that. And the reason I'm not going to do that is because all of the shipping supplies, and I'm not kidding when I say, all of the shipping supplies that I shipped these items out with were free. I mean, they just were. It was either free shipping supplies that I got from the post office, they were bubble mailers or boxes or tape that I got off of truckloads when I was getting truckloads and shipping supplies would come in and I would just, use those. Or they're literally shipping supplies that I would pick up when I would go sourcing at the bin store. And I would buy them for the purposes of shipping, not selling. And I've already profited off of those bin store trips. So just like, free eBay inventory, the shipping supplies were also essentially free in that same sense. So technically, I'm not going to be removing anything like cost of shipping supplies from that net sales number to equal my profit because it was all free shipping supplies. And I do not have an eBay store subscription. So therefore, my total profit on eBay for the month of November is $478.13. I sold 22 items over the course of November for an average sale price of $33.29. So now let's take a look and see what actually sold over the month of November that amounted to over $700 in sales. I sold out completely of these Coravin Pure wine capsules. They're those little capsules that I guess you put in a little machine and it aerates your wine. Never heard of it, but they were very popular this month. I sold out of them completely. And so that made up $213 worth of sales. I also sold 4 different essential oils that totaled $32 worth of sales. I sold 3 of these Beauty Prep facial moisturizers for a total of $88 worth of those sales. And then I had a bunch of one-offs. So I sold some Thayer's facial toner for almost $10, some Garnier Daily Lift Target Wrinkle Treatment for $16, a Master Ski and Snowboard helmet for $32, a 2-pack of Sunco Lighting Downlight for $24, an inflatable dog collar for almost $19, a AC power supply coupler for a Canon camera for $13. And of course, these are all, you know, either including or not including shipping. A super bright headlight system for just under $50. And then I did get a request for a custom Haas Laboratories order. So I have a lot of Haas Laboratories cosmetics that came in on a truckload. I probably had 500 pieces just of this brand in all different colors and styles. I have slowly been selling through them, but I did have somebody contact me over eBay wanting to do a custom bundle. So they had sent me a list of the Haas Laboratories cosmetics that they wanted, and they shot me a price and to see if I was comfortable with it, and I was. So I ended up making that custom bundle and sold it for $233.20. So that was everything that sold over the month of November to equal that $732.48 sale price. So that is that for the month of November. Now, what are my plans for December? I don't know yet. I honestly and truly don't know if I'm going to get to listing anything in December. I really don't. Just because December, it's already pretty busy. I've been really pumping my Facebook page full of merchandise so that people can get things for gifts and actually get them shipped and picked up in time for Christmas. So I might use around Christmas time to get some new listings up on eBay, but to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to feel like it. It has been a while since I have had the times around Christmas to not be stressed out and working like crazy. You know, for the last few years, I've had bin stores over Christmas, and this is actually going to be my first year in the last 4 years where I don't have the brick and mortar store during Christmas season. So I might just take this time to just spend with family and relax a little bit. So I don't know if I'm going to get anything new up in December or not. We'll just have to see. You'll have to check back in January to see if I did. And maybe we'll be surprised. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I am going to make it a point during the month of December to send out more offers on items, because my original plan was to just kind of pull items off of eBay and sell them on Facebook if they were sitting too stagnant. However, I do think that a lot of the items that are on eBay are niched enough that still have watchers on them to where I might be able to push sales on them if I just simply send offers to watchers. So I am going to force myself to do that. Something else that I need to do that I feel is imperative for the eBay account is to go through the eBay shelves and find the items that are listed versus not listed. So one of the things that I had learned in that video that I posted not too long ago where the eBay listings were just absolutely disappearing off of the platform, one of the things that I learned is that I do need to go through every single shelf, because there is a very high likelihood that not everything on all of my eBay shelves is actually listed on eBay. So what I need to do is I need to isolate those items. I need to find what items are not actually listed on eBay so that I can get them posted on eBay or sell them elsewhere if that's what I need to do. Because the way I think about it is the real estate that's on my shelves is expensive real estate, right? Like, I only have so much room to store merchandise, and to be completely honest, my basement is so full. I've got to start making room. So therefore, I don't want to have items that are just sitting on the shelves, taking up space, serving me no purpose, and not, you know, even coming close to bringing me any revenue, because it can't, because it's not actually listed. So I do need to spend the time to go through each shelf and look at each item individually to find out what's on eBay, what's not. And I feel like that is more important than getting items listed on eBay right now. If anything, if not only for the reason of I actually need to have shelf space to put those new items that I'm listing. So let's say I list a whole bunch of new items on eBay, where the heck am I gonna put them if the shelves are all full of stuff that aren't even listed? I mean, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So all of this is to say I have a lot of work to do with my eBay account, but I will definitely keep you guys updated every single month. So make sure that you are subscribed and watching out for these videos. And I really hope that this is inspiring you to also go in and, you know, fix your own eBay account. Maybe, you know, the things that I am learning and relaying to you guys is something that you hadn't thought of. Maybe your seller costs are a lot higher than you expected them to be because you're paying extra insertion fees and you didn't realize it. So I feel like this is just a really good opportunity for all of us, not just me. This just, you know, doing this right here is just helping me feel being, you know, held accountable. But I feel like this is a real opportunity for all of us to kind of get ourselves in check for starting the new year for sure. But thank you guys again so much for watching. If you like videos like this, please remember to hit the thumbs up before you leave. That's the fastest way for me to know that you appreciate this kind of content so that I can continue to make it. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below. And do not forget to check my video description. I always put a lot of useful information in there, including the links to both my eBay account and my Facebook page. I still get a lot of questions about how exactly I am selling items on Facebook, because remember, I'm not selling them on Facebook Marketplace. I am selling them on a business Facebook page. So if you want to see how exactly I'm doing that in real time, you could just click on the link in my video description and you can go check out my Facebook page and see exactly how I am doing that. I do also ship items on that page. So if you happen to see anything that you're interested in, you could join in on the fun and just put sold in the comments. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.